Welcome into the original Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House, everyone. Thrilled as heck to have the Genesee Brew House on board, as John would call it. It's a classy joint, great place to came for lunch, and Mike testified. He says, be prepared to wait if you come at the noon hour because they have a good crowd here every week. Yep. Our panel, John DiTullio, as always, welcome back.
Billy, it's great to be here. Way to kick off 2015 NFL to be right here.
Tremendous. Mike Catalana co-hosting. Joining us again from WDKX is Tariq Spence.
Happy to be here.
The Buffalo Bills, what do you think of them? What have you seen in the preseason?
New coach, new quarterback, new system, great defense, maybe better than last year. A lot of excitement. It's just like the first day of school. Everybody's excited to just see what you can do. But I think the most interesting thing is Tyrod Taylor. If he can perform well, he's always wanted the shot. He finally now has it. Rex Ryan in that defense, I can't imagine them being better than last year, but with Rex Ryan, you never quite know. And we'll see. They'll be coming after Luck, that offensive line again. I think that they'll be harassing Luck all day.
Those first two games are tough, aren't they?
Well, the first three, if you look at the three teams that are playing out of the gate, they all have better quarterbacks, starting with Luck, Brady, and Ryan Tannehill, who I think is going to have a huge year. So right now, they're behind the eight ball in terms of quarterback play in the first three games. And to pile on what Tariq said, it's all about Tyrod Taylor. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can hand the ball off all you want. You got to make plays. We realize that with Kyle Orton. It comes down to making a few throws in some tight windows late in games. Didn't happen last year. Let's see if number 5 now, who carries the weight of Western New York on his right shoulder. It's fun when it's preseason when it doesn't count. I know he won the competition, so be it. But now he's got to go out and outplay Andrew Luck. Good luck.
Castle in, Castle out.
Castle
does it make a difference?
Backup, one of those guys. I think they'll feel comfortable, at least initially, with him being the backup. I do think Tyrod won the competition. I think Rex wanted him to win it. I really do. I think he won over people on the coaching staff. I like the kid a lot. Now, to John's point, it's been the preseason. The nice thing is this kid's been around the league, so he is not a rookie. But Matt Sims threw more regular season passes than Tyrod Taylor. His experience is limited. So his playing status outside of the preseason games is limited. Now, I'm going to say this. Don't mark the tape. I'm not saying this, that he is this guy, okay? He does play a little like Russell Wilson plays, in the sense of this is what he would aspire to be. Moves around in the pocket, gets into the throwing lanes, does not take big hits. He's smart with his body, because he's not a big guy. I mean, he's 6 feet tall, which is how Russell Wilson won everybody over. It was like, wait a minute, smart, can move, accurate, especially on the short passes. He is 5 steps away from being Russell Wilson yet, but he can play that type of game. I don't know how well he'll play it early, but he can play that type of game. Because some small guys get everything batted down. Some small guys like Michael Vick get pounded all the time. I don't think you're going to see that with this
It's hard, though. The running back position with McCoy and that hamstring, who knows if he's 100%. They're going to rely on both of those two guys.
Give me a record in the playoffs, yes or no?
Playoffs, yes.
Record?
I will say 9-7.
Mike?
I'm going to say 9-7, and right now, no, because I've been sticking right to this spot. I think it's going to be close. I'm worried about tiebreakers already, but you look at these first 3 games, 2 in the Division, 3 in the conference right away. I'm worried about that. But I got them right around that same spot at 9-7.
I really believe these first 3 games are huge. You come out of the gate 1-2, 0-3, they're in trouble. I'm with Mike and Tariq. 9-7, no playoffs. I think they're the 3rd best team in the division behind New England and Miami.
I think 1-2 coming out of those first 3 games is a real plus, though. This is the original Rochester Press Box from the mighty Genesee Brew House. We'll be back, and we have predictions to make coming up next. The Buffalo Bills quote of the week was brought to you by the Rochester Geico office. Give the Rochester Geico team a chance to see how much you can save on all your insurance needs. Call or stop by the office on West Henrietta Road, open Monday through Saturday. Our quote of the week is brought to you by Geico Rochester. Johnny, Matt Castle saying what he said. What do you think?
He has a case. I mean, if I'm Matt Castle, I got limited time, but here's the fact. He cannot throw the deep ball. We saw that in the preseason. And to what Mike said earlier, I think Rex wanted Tyrod Taylor to win the job, and maybe they set it up so he could win the job. Matt Castle is not a starter in the NFL. He is a forever clipboard guy for the rest of his career.
Matt Castle out, Matt Castle back in.
You got it.
This segment of the Rochester Press Box is brought to you by the Hillside family of agencies. Hillside is going to receive a donation of $1,000, courtesy of Classy Wolf, in the name of one of the 3 of us. who winds up picking these football games the best over the course of the season. So this is our pick segment. Your votes count, and we have a Hillside pick also we're going to get to. We're going to take the Bills game and our best pick of the week. Mike, start us off. You got the Bills, and who else do you like this week?
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills against the Colts. I just like the defense there. And I'm going to take the Rams at home, getting 4 points from Seattle. I like Seattle. Obviously, they're a better team. The Rams always play them tough. Nick Foles will be okay. They've gotten limited quarterback play up to this point. That defense always does well. Home opener. I'm going to take the Rams at home, getting 4.
John?
I'll take the Colts. I always try to go towards whoever has the better quarterback. I think the Bills have a better defense. Robert Mathis may not play. They've got some injuries, but Luck makes a few more plays than Tyrod Taylor. So I'll take the Colts, and I'll go with my Packers, 6.5 at Soldier Field. Tough opener for John Fox. They may not be as bad as people think, but the Packers own the Bears, and I think Aaron Rodgers torches that awful defense of Chicago.
So you don't have another pick. You fall back on Green Bay.
Always fall back on Aaron Rodgers. 9-1 in his last 10 games versus the Bears. I'll pick Rodgers.
Tariq representing the guest chair. What do you got?
I love my Giants, but I'm not picking them this week. I'll go with the Jets over the Browns. I just have this big feeling that Fitzpatrick is going to do what he does. The first 3 games of the year, he looks amazing. Yeah. After week 3, I wouldn't pick him. So I will go with the Jets in that offense put together. Fitzpatrick's had enough time in camp to get that offense moving.
And your Bills pick?
I will go with the Bills. I think that defense will chase Luck entirely all over the field and create some problems. So let's go with the Bills.
All right, 2-1. I'm with John on the Colts. I like the Colts to beat Buffalo. I think it's just a tough opener. And I think the Baltimore Ravens might be the best team in the AFC. I like them getting 4.5 points at Denver, which is a real good opener. Our picks from Hillside. They're coming from Rod Green, who's the Regional Executive Director of the Hillside Work Scholarship Program, and the students at Greece Arcadia High School. They're going with the Buffalo Bills, big surprise there, and the Green Bay Packers.
They're smart over there.
And once,
smart man.
And once again, there's a $1,000 donation from Classy Wolf Media, the producers of this show, in the name of one of the 3 of us who wins this contest, which John won last year.
I didn't know
you
that.
You did remarkably well.
First time I've heard that. Squelching that information.
I won last year.
And we hope they do well with it. This portion of the original Rochester Press Box brought to you by the Hillside family of agencies. Like it or not, when we return. As we go to break, it is time for the Turnbull Heating and Air Conditioning Trivia Question of the Week. When you're searching for a local heating and air conditioning contractor, look no further than one of the most reliable teams in the area at Turnbull Heating and Air Conditioning. Is called Turnbull at 343-2005. As we come back from the break, time for the answer to the Turnbull Heating and Air Conditioning Trivia Question of the Week. When you're searching for a local heating and air conditioning contractor, look no further than one of the most reliable teams in the area at Turnbull Heating and Air Conditioning. Just call 343-2005. Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box. Bill Pucko with you. We are here from the mighty Genesee Brew House, our title sponsors this year, and this segment of the original Rochester Press Box is brought to you by Amtrak. Enjoy the journey. Like it or not, John, Brady-Gate, you know?
Oh,
Deflate-Gate.
I'm glad it's over.
Have we seen the end of this?
No. ESPN Outside the Lines comes out with a new story this week where it looks like Goodell was going after Brady, and he was acting on behalf of the other owners. And so when people want Goodell fired, it's not going to happen when he's acting as a pawn of the other 31 NFL owners. Well, we haven't heard the end of this. We got the appeal. Then you've got Outside the Lines report where former players and coaches have now come forward. There's just something that makes the Patriots, makes all of us feel a little bit uneasy. But what makes us feel even more uneasy is Roger Goodell. I just wish the man would go away, but we're stuck with him for the next how many more years? Because as long as he's making money and he's acting on behalf of the owners, he ain't going anywhere.
I just don't understand why people haven't questioned the other owners as to why this is still going on. If you really want to end it, it's very simple. Ask the other owners, what do you want to do? I think Roger Goodell is being pushed into this. The other interesting thing, too, is I saw a photo where I guess the owner of the Patriots, Kraft, and the judge were at a party in the Hamptons together. I don't know how can you be impartial when you show up at the same party together? This is a complete mistake to continue this on. If they go to appeal after appeal will be in 2016 making this decision. It's got to go away for the betterment of the business.
It's the best case scenario for the NFL. Doesn't appear to be all that great.
No, it isn't. And this has been handled so poorly by the NFL, really from the start. Goodell, he makes money for the league. I think everything else he does poorly. I am so tired of hearing his voice. Maybe I just have that fatigue of hearing him. I'm tired of the bro hugs at the draft. I'm tired of the way he speaks as if he is speaking from the high mountain. I think he has messed up a lot of things for the league. And now, all this being said, it looks like they were going after other stuff with the Patriots. Now, some of these reports are also, while it seems like the Deflate-Gate wasn't that big a deal, there's a whole list of other things they supposedly did, like sending people in to steal the play sheets from the opposing
at this point,
teams.
do you trust the NFL?
No, I don't trust anything they say, but that's an ESPN report, not an
that's a
NFL
separate
report.
thing from the league.
But Goodell is making the PR rounds trying to sell his case.
Does anybody
this is
believe
not the
him?
way this should be handled.
Does anybody believe it? And then he's like, I want to focus on football now. Really? You think so? The season's starting. So
48 hours from the opener, when and he's on national radio making his case on why they think the NFL and the Ted Wells report is accurate.
But you know what's funny about it, Bill?
Stop.
Is he speaks like he thinks if I say it, people will believe it.
Not anymore.
It just sounds just like words when I hear from him.
But would you get Ted Wells to do another report for you? I mean, does this hurt his credibility as well when he's investigating these things?
Yes.
So now no more Ted Wells. Now who else are you going to get to investigate other teams?
In my opinion, was the Ray Rice case, and this is my own opinion, that he only gave Ray Rice 2 games as a favor to Steve Bisciotti. I really believe that him and Bisciotti told him, take it easy. I really believe that.
And Kraft thought he could probably get the same deal.
Probably.
Yeah.
All right, hopefully that's the last time we have to discuss that. Tariq, like it or not, something near and dear to your heart involving the New York Mets.
Yes.
Innings limits and Matt Harvey.
I hate it because of what happened with the Nationals. And here's my thing. Harvey presents himself as this guy, I want to be the leader. I want to be the man. I want to be the franchise. And I have this feeling that he's now listening to maybe his agent or maybe the doctors more. And I want him to be around. I want him to be a Met for years to come. But you can't take on that role and be wishy-washy with it. You're either going to pitch over 180 or you're not. I need him in the playoffs. They're making a push. They haven't been there in 9 years. It's okay to have him in relief in the playoffs if he goes. But if you're going to shut him down, shut him down. If you're going to pitch him. But let Harvey make this decision. There's too many people talking. GMs, the agents, doctors. Let Harvey, who's this alpha dog, make this decision.
It seems, he has to listen to these people, and this isn't as simple an issue as wanting to play.
It's not, because he's got a mega paid deal coming to him at some point. I just don't like the way it's all handled. Boris opens his mouth up all the time. It gets leaked out to the press, and then, the Players Tribune, please, that's a whole other thing where it's a PR flack article written, and all of a sudden he thinks it's going to fix everything. In New York City with the tabloids, none of that's going to happen. It should have been in-house, done.
Once October comes around,
Pitch him. Yeah.
You start him game 1 in the NLDS against whoever they're playing.
This portion of the original Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House, has been brought to you by Amtrak Trains. Enjoy the journey. Unfinished Business is next. Our Rochester Press Box Genesee Brew House Fan of the Week is Stacy McNee of Rochester, who receives a $25 gift card and a t-shirt from the Genesee Brew House. Thank you for watching the Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. Welcome back to the original Rochester Press Box, presented by the Genesee Brew House. This portion of the original Rochester Press Box is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. We call this Unfinished Business, and John starts.
Watching college football Monday night, I watched Ohio State. Urban Meyer can just coach. Doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. Art Schleicher could come back and probably throw 3 touchdown passes. He can coach football, especially on the offensive side. Then I look at my school, Penn State, James Franklin, more importantly, Christian Hackenberg, who 2 years ago under Bill O'Brien looked like the next big thing. 2 years later, bring back Matt McGloin, if you know what I'm talking about. Christian Hackenberg and the offensive line allowed 10 sacks. It was the same issue they had a year ago against a Temple defense that did return 11 starters, but let's face it, they're not Ohio State, they're not even Alabama. James Franklin brought in a lot of hype. He can recruit, got energy, he galvanized the alumni and the fan base. But he appears to be a coach with all style and no substance. The one thing about Joe Paterno, you could always say, he always beat the teams he was supposed to. Bill O'Brien won 8 games his first year in 7 games, with about 45 to 50 scholarship players. James Franklin now is at full strength. What I saw last Saturday is the worst loss Penn State has had in 15 years. Week 2 in the year 2000, Penn State got hammered by Toledo. This, to me, is worse considering the team Penn State returned from a year ago. We could be in a whole heap of trouble. And Franklin already, if he doesn't get things together quickly, already on the hot seat in just his second year.
1 weekend.
Well, the kid coaching Temple, Matt Rule's name's already come up.
Tariq Spence.
Well, I have to say there's two things we've learned within the last few years or so. One is which apparently we need to protect every football that comes into every single game, and it needs to be police escorted in. That is 1C. 1B will be the protection of the referees after we saw what happened in Texas with 2 players going after those refs. Number 1 has always been the players. Everything has been for the last 2 years, safety, safety, safety. Safety's for the players, safety's now for the refs, safety for the integrity of the game. I think we need to protect all 3. I will say this. Mike Murray was just on this very set not too long ago talking a bit about the responsibility of protecting everybody, not using vulgar language at youth games, not causing fights between parents and teams, attacking referees. All of this needs to be taken into account with the start of a fresh new season for high school football, for youth sports in general, with hockey, baseball, basketball, all sports in general. Protection and safety. We all have to work come Monday.
It's well said. You know, Mike said Mike Mario is the athletic director at Churchville Chila. I made that point a couple weeks ago, and you're right. The whole Texas situation has just emphasized that even more. Good job, Tariq.
We know the NFL, people will always joke and say it stands for not for long, and we all know that. And there's a certain point in players' careers when you know it's time to move on. There is no room in the NFL for sentiment. The Bills got rid of Fred Jackson, cut him, set him loose. Fred Jackson didn't expect it. He expected to be on the team. There were no conversations beforehand. Fred had come back from his injury and ready to play. A lot of fans talk about that. How can they let Freddie go? Freddie's the guy. Freddie is so good in the community. Fred is such a good guy. All those things might be true. That's not why the Bills should have kept Fred Jackson. They should have kept him because he could still help this team a lot this season. I don't trust anybody beyond LaShawn McCoy, and we hope he's healthy and ready to play for the Bills. The other backs are either hurt, never been there, never gotten it done. They are worrisome as you go into the season. I like Carlos Williams too, but if he's not really ready to be a contributor till halfway through the season, John talks about the importance of these first 3 games. Yep. You better be able to protect Tyrod. You better be able to be that outlet. You better be able to block on 3rd down. Fred would have done that. He'll be doing that behind Marshawn in Seattle. Pete Carroll knows he's got a vet. The only plus for Bills fans is New England was probably this close to getting Fred. Good thing, at least in this case, he's out west.
You know what is odd, I think, is I think Buffalo applied what you're talking to in bringing Matt Castle back.
Yeah.
You know, that the same reason they could have been.
And I understand a quarterback is more important than a running back, but Fred is more important than an average running back. He can still contribute.
We would like to thank our sponsors, the Amtrak, the Hillside Family of Agencies, and of course Dunkin' Donuts, who sponsored this segment, and of course the mighty Genesee Brew House, our title sponsors for this year, the original Rochester Press Box. Thank you for joining us, John. Thank you.
Billy, great show.
Michael,
really good.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Tariq, good to have you back.
Like the new place?
Yeah.
Again, thank you for joining us. The original Rochester Press Box. We'll see you again next week.